So we've got Nathan Baxter here, legend of powerlifting in Australia. I'm super excited about this because ever since I've been a young male wanting to get bigger and stronger, the bench press has been a massive part of that. For me, it's been one of those exercises that absolutely destroyed my shoulders. And at the same time, I know there's a lot of guys that do get some wicked benefits either in strength or aesthetics or whatever they're looking for. So you're one of Australia's bench press record holders. And I want to find out more about that and everything, like the journey that it took to get you there.
Oh man, there's some stories.
I would say I've never benched seriously before.
Neither have I. It's always been, it should always be fun when you're benching. Benching is never serious. Focused maybe. A lot of my research in neuroscience about motivation and dopamine. Language is really, really massive. And we know this with talking about pain as well. So I always say focused, because play and flow can be super, super focused, and they are. Serious tends to be like, that's work. I don't like work.
22-year-old me thought I had to do bodybuilding because back then there was no Instagram, there was no YouTube, if you can remember those days. Right?
What was that like?
And everything we did in the gym was what you got taught from who you got taught from.
Oh yeah, and then that was like Muscle and Fitness, Ironman magazine, Flex.
PT, course, all that kind of stuff, right? What you saw other guys doing in the gym. You know, the guy who could bench the most in the gym.
Oh, he obviously knew the most because the big biceps make you smart.
22-year-old me thought, hey, I've got a weak shoulder. I've got no lat on this side. I need to rehab it. I need to build strength. To do that, getting bigger was the definition of getting stronger back then, right? So to the point where I got so big and strong, it destroyed me. So, you know, my goal was 100 kilos, right? And the bench press standard for most young men is like, I just want to be able to say I can do that, right? 100 kilos.
3 figures, you know, I'm tough now, it's 100. I'm good.
Aspiring to achieve that, found myself in the most pain, lost the use in my arm.
That's not good.
Clearly there was some things I wasn't doing quite right. Whether it was the technique, whether it was prior injury, all this kind of stuff.
It's always all of the above and then some.
Yeah, exactly. And I haven't been great at bench, I haven't been shit at bench. Actually, I've never known how to bench well.
Right, yeah.
Right? Until I start asking some better questions about, hey, why is my arm fucked when I do this? You know? And I have not bench pressed in 5 or 6 years, like, as in, I think the last time I tested was after I dislocated my shoulder.
Right.
As in like, oh, hey, can I still do this? And like handstands, you know, oh, can my arm take my body weight overhead without me falling on my neck? So I did bench press a few years ago. I think I did 60 kilos, right? Okay. I set this up with you and I'm like, hey, I should probably test out where I'm at with my bench press. So I did 70 kilos the other day and no problems, no issues, which I'm happy with. So today I would like to dive into you coaching me through just how you would coach a normal beginner and set me up, and let's see if we can get over body weight would be nice today.
All right. What's your body weight?
80. Yeah, let's say 80.
The only rule is that you're not allowed to move into pain. Right? That's rule number 1. If you do get pain, you're not allowed to stop. You've got to keep moving, but you do it slower. And if you're still getting pain after going really, really slow, just do it smaller. Yeah. The only thing that you're not allowed to do is to stop moving, because it's the movement that will create better movement. Lack of movement never fixes anything.
The biggest word there is pain, which a lot of people are confused about, as in like, what is pain? So for me, pain is something that stops movement or performance.
Yep.
Right?
Kinda, yep.
Your brain goes, no, don't keep going, just right? Stop. So it's like sharp, stabby, tearing, whatever it is. It's certainly not the burn of muscles and the working kind of
pain. The discomfort,
Sometimes people associate that as pain, and it's like, that's, when you've been in pain, that's not pain anymore.
So my definition for pain is an action signal to do something differently. That works all the way down to like, if I put my hand on the fry pan when it's hot, that's an action signal to move my damn hand off the fry pan. So do something different. Stop doing what you're doing. Perfect. Normally, where we always start is injury history, previous sport performance. So the thing that jumps out to me straight away, and the way I think about benching in general, if we break it down into like really, really macro chunks, it's pelvic stability and thoracic stability, or shoulder stability, right? The pelvic stability one, I think that's probably where I'd start with you. And so we wouldn't even start on a bench. We'd get you rolling around on the floor, literally pointed across your body, reaching. That arm reaches, and see if you can pull your body over. Keep reaching, reach. There we go, and legs come over. On a scale of 1 to 10 hardness, how was that for you? Like 10 being really hard.
It was like a Oh, that's it.
So now, see if you can reach back and get yourself back over. There we go. Cool. All right, do the other side, just to make sure you're somewhat symmetrical. Go on, you can do it. You can do it.
A lot harder that way.
So for a really fit, strong guy like you, that should not be as hard as it is. But then again, it should be as hard as it is, given how many injuries you've had and how much damage you've done to your spine and pelvis and neck. I did heaps of this stuff for me in order to be able to reintegrate all of the sensory stimulation coming in.
So when did you actually start powerlifting?
I started lifting when I was 13. Joined the gym up above an old squash club, and it was about 55 degrees to train in there. It was just like hardly anyone trained there, but anyone that did was super hardcore.
They were all in the back sheds, right?
I still live like it's garage days at my place. What that did was put me on this mastery track for becoming really, really good at simple movements, because I just paid a whole lot more attention to what I did. So 2007, I started doing competitions, and then broke the Australian bench record every year from 2008 to 2015.
You're right.
2015, Sweden was 340 kilo bench. That was the last time I broke the record, and that still stands as the record today.
Wow.
So that's the bench press journey.
Yeah.
And then of course I had to stop because I had 5 strokes, and now I'm not allowed to lift heavy things. Around 2011, I was becoming much more interested in neuroscience and the neural underpinnings of movement. My background had been in physiotherapy, and so I was right up on that. And then I just read a few books around that time that made me look at motor learning in a slightly different perspective. So books like The Brain That Changes Itself by Norman Doidge, The Lost Sense of Balance, The Body Has a Mind of Its Own, those kind of books. I'm starting to think, oh, hang on, there's another way we can look at this problem of how to lift more. Yeah. Because I started so far behind my competitors, especially internationally, I was looking for any tactical advantage that was legal and ethical to get beyond them. And so I realized nobody was looking at neuroscience or looking at brains. And so I invested all my research money into that and did a whole bunch of courses in applied neuroscience. Yep.
And for a lot of people, it's the old, work smarter, not harder. I don't think you realize that until you've gone through the hard work, you've tried hard.
There's got to be a better way.
I'm breaking down here, there's got to be a better way, right? And you ask those questions like, what's the better way?
Yep.
Can we go to the bench yet, or is there more to iron out?
Let's see what happens. So let's just go. Okay, right, after this one. You know what? You tell me 3 things that you think you did well.
I breathed.
That's important. Yep.
I was thinking about coming down to my rib cage.
Uh-huh.
I could feel my scapulas into the bench.
All right. So what I want you to do on all 3 of those things, on a scale of 1 to 10, what was the intensity of each one of those?
1 or 2.
All right. Ratchet up a notch or 2. Those 3 things, turn them into 3 or 4s out of 10. Scapula, breathing, and how do you reckon?
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Cool.
It might have been you told me a few years ago, treat every lift as though it was your heaviest. So like,
just whatever you feel good with, chuck it on. So I want to see if you can take those 3 cues that you are doing really well with and just up it. In terms of upper back and scapula on that one, where do you think you're at?
would have still been a 4.
4? What are some ways that you know from other things that you do that you can get more of that external rotation force through the shoulders?
Any sort of pulling work, like prep work?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, how can you do that prep work while you're holding onto the bar?
And just pull the bar down.
Cool, all right, let's do it. Oh, that was good. Cool, and rack. How'd that feel?
Yeah, that first one felt the best.
And what were you doing on the first one?
Well, I thought about pulling it. Then you get, there's a lot of distractions from that one focus, but yeah.
And so what happened, what did you feel in your body when you pulled more? What happened as a result?
More tension.
Where?
Scapulas and then pecs and...
I realize if I tell you about you, then you learn what I've told you, but you haven't learned yourself yet. But if you discover and go, so when I tension up, I feel it here. And then you're like really connecting with that sensation, with all of those mechanics, your proprioception just globally improves. So you're more connected, there's more detail in the mat. The more detail, the more you can lift. So let's keep going up then. So I want to see if you can get your hands, when you grab the bar, to try and twist the bar to try and sort of torque your, I know you know how to do it. Yeah, like that. Yeah, rack that. Yeah, rack it. Rack it. I'm sorry I took a while to tell you to rack. That was really good. Like, don't do another one.
Cool.
How did that feel?
It did feel good. Different. I could feel like my shoulder, I think it clicked. More engaged, yeah. Yeah. I don't know whether stronger yet, but more engaged.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like more engaged.
Yeah.
Shall we keep going? Cool. Rack.
Find that as I think about one thing, I might lose focus in another thing.
Yeah.
So
which is what's the focus that you feel best with at the moment?
I've got to get more focus on the twisting the bar and then straps into the bench.
Okay.
Like I got one, but then I lost the other.
So let's do a drill. Rather than making you try to do it under load, get into a push-up position plank for us. So like you're going to do a scap push-up. Actually, just start doing scap push-ups. You know how to do those. Now at the same time, try and twist your hands. So you rotate, that's the one. Twist it as hard as you can. Try and, almost like you're trying to rip the rubber out of the floor. Good, relax. You've done it before. How's your wrist feel?
The only place I felt it, like pain from
just that
twist. Not even on the broken arm. So I'm taking that to this.
Yep. So don't try and do that, just, you'll remember how to do it.
Want the strength to be there when you need it.
That's the one. Good, rack. Nice and confident.
Yeah, I had to think less.
Yeah. I like this one that was given to us, said do the drill, forget the drill.
Do the what?
Do the drill, forget the drill. Sounds weird. When you're benching, I want you to focus on benching. When you're doing a drill, focus on doing the drill.
Yeah.
If you do the drill often enough, well enough, it's just there when you're doing the other thing. It's just the way you move now.
Yeah, it's like you do it until you don't need to do it.
Yep. So this time, let's work on finding space in the wrist. So we'll do this. As you put for the scap push-ups, as you put your hands down, I want you to be rotating. So thumb goes down and rotate from the start. So you're opening up space here and then put compression onto it. So start with the twist. That's it. Get everything twisted in and then get on top of it.
Yeah, there's nothing.
As any good car guy will tell you, firing order is very important.
Yep, love that.
Good movement breeds better movement. Cool, very nice. I really love the way that you twisted in first that time and then took the set. Like even when you were setting up, you could see that your hands were on the bar, you're looking at creating torque right from the get-go.
I still needed to think more about scaps.
It takes
as
time.
the load
Yeah.
goes more, you got to step it up a notch, right?
Well, see, that's the thing about load is it's almost like the CrossFit attitude of like we're always going to find something that'll break you, and so we keep on with testing day. We're loading until we find where's the bit where you start leaking power, and then we go, all right, let's do lots of stuff in training now to make sure that there's no leak there anymore, and then we retest and go, cool, we plug that leak.
Switching.
It's working out what to do. So on this one, as you come in this time, I want you to take this grip here, and this is a kettlebell thing now. So we're trying to get bar through the channel here. So you get your hand on there, and then laying it down flat, and then we're gonna twist your hand back onto it. So for me, the pinky's not touching that much. It's not a false grip, but there's a lot of torque going through that part of my hand. So we're just doing, let the thumb really doing a lot of work here.
Right, okay.
And then grab. And so the pinky, these two fingers aren't doing a lot on the bar. Most of the work's here. When you unrack, all the weight is going to be through the heel of your palm. There's not going to be any weight here, so we don't need to worry about compressing your wrists and those kind of things. Trying to load up all of the forces over the strong bits. There we go. Twist really, really hard. Beautiful. good.
Right.
That's one of my favorite looks is when someone gets up and they're like, oh, and their eyes just, what was that? And it's like, okay, we need to chill for a bit now,
Like, that was different.
and just let all the information settle in your brain.
Yeah, because there's a lot of information, and the effort is what I was most distracted by, the effort.
Yep.
Then, so like the load itself. Anything to make that easier?
So now when we go up, when we do the next set, we've done all the really deliberate intentional practice. Now we find a way just to relax, let it all go, run around the gym, grab a drink, and then just come back and bench.
And I see, obviously with powerlifting, there's a lot of technique that goes into like people arching their backs and stuff like that. So don't go there. No, but,
I hate that stuff.
Know, like it's a common question I get.
A lot of it's unnecessary. I think a lot of it comes from people not understanding where the power in the arch comes from. And the way I think about it always is pelvic stability, shoulder stability, and then these two strong forces opposing each other is what creates the arch. You're not trying to pull the arch up, it's a strong arch.
Yeah.
And if that's flat, like you get some great benches, world-class, world record holding benches, they're almost flat back, but it's very, very strong, that arch in between. And then you have others, normally lighter weight classes, that have really big high arches, but it's a strong arch. You can have a high arch and it be weak, can't bench. You can have a flat back, weak arch, can't bench. It's the strength. It's not all this weird gymnastic stuff, you know.
So is there anything in what I'm doing here with my setup where, like, you know, we talked about my pelvic stability that I could be thinking about or doing?
Oh, a lot, yeah.
Of course,
so much.
There is a lot.
So much. We can try one for now, but like for me, until someone has got this connection, like first we worry about where the hands are contacting the bar.
Right.
And then I go for shoulder connection on the bench.
Okay.
And then I go for hip connection, and then you start talking about feet.
Yeah, right.
But
So
we
I feel
can
like with more weight here,
You're
as
losing.
soon as I unload, I'm good. I can feel the load, but then
It's dissipating.
I feel like I'm lost in my hips.
This is the only way I've taught leg drive ever because I've never found a better way. I just want you to push your head off the end of the bench. That's it. And then set up, do it again. So
Sit up.
So pull yourself back down the bench,
Yep.
and you're just literally trying to slide your head back to here, where my hand is, all the way back. So way
all the
back.
way back?
Yep, so your
Okay.
head's off. That's the movement. Do 5 of those. So you're kind of pushing your toes out the end of your shoes to slide. All right, ready for an attempt? Better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt my back so much more.
Yeah.
Like,
So
like it was like
some
my scapulas were just there
Yep.
already. I didn't have to find them.
and if the two shoulder blades aren't touching each other in the middle, you can contract harder. So yeah, that one. So that break my finger. Go harder, harder, harder. See if you can do it without using your arms. Yeah, see that's good. So literally it's just, can I do that over and over and over again?
Yeah.
And so this, for me, like what, 6 months ago, I had a full replacement. So now I've got this nice little titanium shoulder in there. And all of my rehab initially was just me setting my shoulder blades back and down like I'm benching.
This is how you build a bulletproof shoulder.
That's how you do it, right? This is how you, so for me, like powerlifting for so long is what kept my shoulders healthy. So playing rugby, baseball, landing on my shoulder a lot, just messing up and never treating it.
Yeah.
It was literally powerlifting and being able to bench so much that held everything in position for a long time. And then as I started to detrain and lose muscle, that's when pain came on.
Yeah, yeah.
The dysfunction was already there, but the pain came on later. Or the damage, not the dysfunction.
Yeah.
So this one, I just want you, I want to see if you can throw the bar off your chest. There we go. Oof. Nice intention.
That was nicer. Yes.
Yeah. So let's go up now.
Yeah. Just want to tear my pec off, you know. You're not in pain. You're not going hard enough, right?
That's when my pain is fuel. Train on. I was like,
So you train until something breaks, right?
yeah, and then strap it up, go harder. That's because pain is fuel. So all I want you on this one, everything that you've been doing, just do it a little bit more. So try and pull yourself in a little bit tighter. I'll give you a lift out on this one too. Set it in tight, big tight. And away we go. Bang. That was no drama.
I knew you were there.
Yeah. There's a weird mindset shift when you know someone's there as well.
You weren't touching that, were you?
No. And so, because I always did self-unracks even at Worlds, unracked 320, took them on my chest, pressed it out, racked it. I like that little sense of scare of going, I didn't die. Nothing bad ever happened. I knew I had it.
Well, if you're never hitting that point in your training, then when you get on the bench in competition doing a PB, you've never been there before,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah, and so I always thought it's like going out in big surf when you're surfing. That you're either confident that you've got it, or you're not. And if you're not confident, just don't paddle out.
yeah, all right. This could be my PB for the last 10 years.
So rotating, locking everything in, big, big breath, and throw that as hard as you can. Cool. Big chest. Throat, come on, you got it. Come on.
Fucking hell. Fucking lost it.
You needed the mental spot on that one. Bench press is explosive.
Yeah.
So if you did anything explosive now as a primer, that should theoretically carry over onto your next attempt.
Let me do some swings.
If that's your thing, that's your thing. There we go. Work on that really good bench position with your chest. You look like you've done a couple of those before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them.
Nice and strong in the setup. See yourself doing it. Cool. There we go. Keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. And rack. It's good, man. You just, none at all again. It's literally that vision of my hands being there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mental thing. It goes, oh, I'm safe now. I can apply more power.
Yeah. That's the first time I think I've properly put in effort on a bench press for 10 years.
How'd it feel?
It felt good. Like
Good.
it felt like what it used to
Yeah, nice.
before I broke. And nothing's standing out for me. Like shoulders feel good. I can feel my back is like pumped.
Pumped. Good. That it should be.
And so I suppose a lot of people think that you use bench press to build your pecs, right?
Yeah.
And to build all this pressing strength. What I'm feeling, and from the very start, is there's a lot of focus on it being a pulling
Yeah.
movement before it's a pressing movement. So if you don't have the pull, then you're not going to have the press.
Yeah, all the best benches have these massive thick backs
Yeah,
and amazing scapular control.
right.
Because all the scapular control is what preserves shoulder health long term. The stuff you do in rehab is what you do for high performance as well with shoulders. So just getting that amazingly strong, stable scapula allows people to press huge amounts of weights. And then if you do that, as a nice consequence, you'll have a massive thick chest, big delts, big triceps.
Yeah,
But it's understanding that benching well causes big chest, not the other way around. Doing it well and always just looking to do it a little bit better.
one of the best principles I try to stick to, and was so pivotal for me just to understand or hear, was just the definition of efficiency is doing the right thing and then knowing how to do that thing right.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's like everyone in the gym is going to the gym with the intention of like, I'm doing the right thing, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting fitter, I'm getting healthier, but with no understanding of how to do the one thing that they're doing right.
Yeah.
And that's because, you know, we've got all these machines that help us to do it, and coaches and different people and everything that we've seen and stuff like that. So, man, I'm so thankful for you just give me some small insights.
Cool.
I understand that this is like surface level stuff.
Listen, but you know, it's like getting Lego pieces, and you just keep on playing with the pieces, and it makes more and more sense over the time. And the more you understand the big piece, you break it down into smaller pieces, you understand what goes together and apply it across the board to different stuff. And that's how we learn. That's the amazing thing about movement, is that it's not just the bench press. Like the bench press is kind of like a throw, it's kind of like all these other things we do. And there's only certain things that we can do with each joint. So it's just, the context is what makes it different. But our bodies move the same with everything. And so we learn to control our bodies, and then the bar is just teaching you more about what your body can do.
Love it. Mate, well, thank you so much for
Cool.
all that. There you go, guys.
worries.
Bench tips, bench magic.
The world philosophy according to bench, I think. That's, you know.
The philosophy of bench with Nathan Baxter. Bench press legend. Thank you so much.
No worries.